Okay, good. I'd like to call to order this Henderson County Board of Education special meeting. Today is May the 26th. It's 5:30. We are conducting this meeting via teleconference and our alternate physical location. The first thing we need to do is approve the minutes from the prior meeting and from the Superintendent Search Committee. Has everyone had a chance to review those, and are there any changes or additions? Thank you. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. We need to establish, because of the COVID thing, and we realize that we're going to have a timeline that was not of our original choosing. It's been suggested that we, whoever we decide is going to be the superintendent, there's going to be a transition period. So we need to create a position for that. Have I said that correctly, Beth? Or do you want to explain that?
We're creating a position that can be posted and hired into, if needed, to allow for a transitional overlap.
Okay.
We've put together a job description for that position to allow it to complement the superintendent position itself. Right. Because by law we can only have one superintendent.
Correct.
So we need to make sure that we're clear in that regard, and that there's no overlap or problems with questions of authority, or that we're not in compliance with statutes. So because there's no such position that's currently in place, the board needs to create that position and determine a title for the position. There's no magic language. I know some of the things that were suggested were transitional director of district services, or assistant superintendent of district services, or assistant superintendent, transitional coordinator. I mean, all,
Right.
That's within the board's purview, but the main thing is that we establish the position so that it can be advertised.
Okay. I kind of took some of the words that you had listed, because I'm not sure that we want the word superintendent in that position at the moment. Could we use the word transitional district director? Would that work? Does anyone have any other suggestions for terms to call this person? Wes, you got a question?
I don't have a suggestion, but I do have a question. So when it gets to the point where Margana is retired, we have to take further action to hire that person on as a superintendent?
What the discussion has been, that the cleanest way, and I think I outlined this in an email, was to complete the superintendent hiring process in the schedule we're on. The difference would be to have that new superintendent that's hired have an effective start date. That would be at the end of the overlapping period. That way we would not create an issue with Margana's retirement, because had we changed her contract, KTRS could not guarantee that would not, flag her in the system or cause a problem for her.
What messes up her retirement
Right.
money based on her last year's salary, the last 5 years, however that is. So obviously this last year's going to be a higher salary, and I'm sure she wants that computed into the monthly retirement basically.
Right. And it creates an issue if there's any alteration in her responsibilities, benefits, salary, anything that tweaks that last contract can flag a problem with KTRS. So, talking through it with different people at the state level, the unanimous consensus was, because she still has another year left on that contract, that we could continue under that, complete our superintendent hiring process, but have an effective start date for that person at
As
the date
superintendent.
agreed upon
Right.
by the board.
Like December 1st.
And the candidate.
Right. Okay. Does that answer your question, Wes? Okay, cool. Okay.
So say that title again that you said, please.
Transitional district director. unless anybody else has got any other names for it. Yes, yes,
Oh,
Kirk?
Not a name.
No.
Beth, can we put, like in the job description, like for requirements, that a candidate to apply for this position must have been a candidate who applied for the superintendent's job? That way, there's no fuss about, well, I applied for that job and it wasn't really a job, or you understand what I'm
Right,
saying? Like,
right.
you have to have a superintendent certification. A requirement is you have to have been an applicant,
position.
when the superintendent's job was originally posted.
Right, no, I understand, yes. Kind
We
of weeds
can-
out some of the extra people not being able
Yeah,
to
it
apply
weeds
for
out, it
Weeds out
just
all
makes
those
it
extra
very
people
clear
that-
that it's only for if a person who is an applicant.
We can clarify the qualifications when the position's posted. You know, one thing we can't do is post a position that has a guaranteed person identified. So it
Yes.
can't be targeted enough that, it specifically narrows down the pool to one applicant only. So if you've applied for the position, you would.
If you weren't one of the original applicants.
And that narrows it down to 12 people, so. 11, because one person got out, so yeah. But yeah, okay, okay. Any other questions, concerns? Okay, so, yes, sir?
What happens to the position after the effective date of the new superintendent?
One of two things. I mean, it can stay on the books as a vacant position. You know, we've had a practice in recent years of trying to keep our books pretty clean. So my recommendation in kind of keeping in with what we've been doing in the last few years would be that the board abolish the position.
Abolish it, right. Usually if that position's not used within 6 months, then we've abolished it, if no one's filled it since that time. Okay. Okay, so I guess I'll look for a motion to establish the position named Transitional District Director as one of our positions. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second? I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Transitional District Director, Ms. Robin. Okay. Anything else? Okay. I think we are getting ready to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.8101F, discussions which might lead to the appointment of an individual employee. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We're in executive session. Thank you, Ms. Robin. Thank you, Mr. Stephen. Thank you all for joining.